We took 7 photos in those catacombs beneath New Orleans. Group shots to document our exploration. But when we got home and looked at them, we counted 8 shadows. 8 people in every photo. The extra shadow moved closer to us in each picture. And in the final photo taken right before we left, you can see its face. Last night it knocked on my door. My name is Vincent, and I run urban exploration tours in New Orleans. Abandoned buildings, old cemeteries, the usual haunted city stuff tourists eat up. But 3 weeks ago, my friend Marcus told me about something different. A hidden entrance to catacombs that weren't on any official map. Catacombs that the city didn't acknowledge existed. Marcus had found the entrance while doing construction work in the French Quarter, behind a false wall in a building slated for demolition. Stone steps leading down into darkness. He wanted to explore it, but not alone. So he called me and our friend Josie, who does paranormal investigation videos. We met up last Tuesday night around 11. The building was empty, condemned. We had maybe a week before demolition crews tore it down and sealed that entrance forever. Marcus led us to the basement, showed us the hole he'd made in the wall. Beyond it, stone steps descended into complete blackness. The air coming up smelled old, stale, like a tomb that hadn't been opened in centuries. We clicked on our headlamps and started down. The stairs went deeper than they should have. We counted over 200 steps. That put us way below the water table, below the level of Lake Pontchartrain. The walls were wet, covered in some kind of mineral deposit that sparkled in our lights. At the bottom, we found ourselves in a tunnel, carved stone, about 6 feet wide and 7 feet tall. The floor was covered in a thin layer of water that splashed under our boots. "This is incredible," Josie whispered. Her voice echoed down the tunnel. "This has to be from the 1700s at least, maybe earlier." We started walking. The tunnel branched occasionally. We marked our path with glow sticks so we could find our way back. After about 20 minutes, we entered a larger chamber. It was circular, maybe 30 feet across. The walls were covered in symbols, not words, just strange geometric patterns that hurt to look at too long. In the center of the room was a stone pedestal, and on the pedestal was a handprint, a single handprint pressed into the stone. But here's what made my skin crawl. Next to it, carved into the pedestal, was a date. April 7th, 1823. The handprint looked fresh, like someone had just pressed their hand into wet concrete. But the date was 200 years old. "Let's get some photos," Marcus said, pulling out his phone. "Document this before we leave." We gathered around the pedestal. Marcus held his phone at arm's length to get all 3 of us in the shot. Took a picture. Then we moved to different positions. Took more photos. 7 total from different angles of the chamber. We explored for another hour, found more tunnels, more chambers. Some had bones in them, old bones, arranged in patterns on the floor, circles, spirals. One room had bones spelling out words in Latin. I don't speak Latin, but Josie translated using her phone. They sealed us here. They thought we would starve. They were wrong. That was enough for me. I wanted to leave. The others agreed. We followed our glow sticks back to the entrance, climbed those 200 steps, emerged into the basement just as the sun was rising. We went to a diner, ordered coffee, started looking at the photos Marcus had taken. That's when we noticed it. In the first photo taken at the pedestal, there were 3 of us. Vincent, Marcus, Josie. 3 people. 3 shadows on the wall behind us from our headlamps. But there were 4 shadows. Look, Marcus zoomed in. There's an extra shadow between Vincent and Josie. We stared at the photo. He was right. A 4th shadow, humanoid but wrong. Too tall, too thin, arms too long. Check the other photos, I said, my coffee forgotten. Marcus swiped to the 2nd photo. 4 shadows again. But the extra shadow had moved. It was closer to our group now. No longer between us, but standing directly behind Josie. 3rd photo, the shadow was next to Marcus, close enough that it should have been touching him. 4th photo, it was in front of our group. We should have seen it, should have noticed someone standing right there. But the photo showed empty space where the shadow fell. My hands started shaking. 5th photo. The shadow had a defined shape now, humanoid but stretched, like someone had grabbed a person and pulled them vertically. The head was elongated. The fingers reached past its knees. 6th photo. You could see details. The suggestion of a face, hollow eye sockets, a too wide mouth. 7th photo. The final one taken right before we left. The shadow was standing directly in front of Marcus, and if you zoomed in on the darkness where its face should be, you could see eyes, white eyes, no pupils, staring directly at the camera. "We need to delete these," Josie said. Her voice was shaking. "Right now. Delete them and never go back there." But Marcus was already backing up the photos to his cloud storage. For evidence, he said. "In case something happens, we need proof of what we found." That was 6 days ago. The first night after we explored the catacombs, I had dreams. Dreams of being underground, of walking through endless tunnels, of something walking behind me. I could hear its footsteps, splash, splash, splash in the water. But every time I turned around, nothing was there. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. My bedroom was freezing, and I could smell it, that stale tomb smell from the catacombs. The next morning, Josie called me. She had the same dream, same time, 3:17 a.m. She woke up and her apartment smelled like the catacombs. Marcus didn't answer his phone. I drove to his apartment, knocked, no answer. Used the spare key he gave me years ago. His apartment was empty, but on his bathroom mirror, written in condensation, were words. He went back. I called Josie. We drove to the condemned building together. The entrance to the catacombs was still open. We could see glow stick light coming from below. We went down, all 200 steps, found our old glow stick trail still marking the path, followed it to the central chamber with the pedestal. Marcus was there. He was standing at the pedestal, his hand pressed into the stone right next to the old handprint. But he wasn't moving, wasn't breathing. His eyes were open, but vacant, empty. Marcus. I shouted. His head turned slowly, too slowly, like his neck was rusty. When he spoke, his voice was wrong, layered, like multiple people talking at once. "You shouldn't have photographed us. You shouldn't have taken our image. Now we can follow it back, follow it out, follow it home." His hand pulled away from the stone. There was a new handprint next to the old one, fresh, and carved underneath it a new date. Today's date. We ran, grabbed Marcus and dragged him. He didn't resist, but he didn't help either. His body was limp, heavy. We got him up those stairs, out of the building, into Josie's car. We drove straight to the hospital. Marcus was catatonic. The doctors couldn't explain it. No head trauma, no drugs in his system. He just wouldn't respond to anything. His eyes were open, but nobody was home. That was 2 weeks ago. Marcus is still in the hospital, still unresponsive. But here's what's been happening since. Every night at 3:17 a.m. I wake up. My apartment smells like the Catacombs, and I can hear footsteps in my hallway. Splash, 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 like someone walking through water. I checked my phone photos. The 7 pictures from the Catacombs are still there, even though I deleted them. They keep reappearing. And the shadow in the photos has changed. It's not in the Catacombs anymore. Now it's in photos of my apartment, my bedroom, me sleeping. Last night I woke up at 3:17 and took a selfie, just to see, just to know. In the photo behind me, standing next to my bed, was the shadow. Fully formed now, tall, stretched, with those white eyes staring at the camera. And this morning, I found something that made me realize the truth. A handprint on my bathroom mirror, not in condensation, pressed into the glass, like the glass was soft, like stone that hadn't set yet. I checked the date on my phone. Then I understood. The Catacombs aren't just tombs. They're a prison. Those symbols on the walls, the bones arranged in patterns, the warnings in Latin. Someone sealed something down there 200 years ago. Multiple somethings. Entities that existed in shadows, in reflections, in images. They couldn't escape on their own. But when we photographed them, we gave them a doorway, a connection to the outside world, to us. And now they're using that connection to follow us out. Marcus went back because it called him, made him add his handprint to the stone, made him part of the prison, or maybe part of what was imprisoned. Josie stopped answering my calls 4 days ago. I drove to her apartment yesterday. The door was unlocked. Her apartment was empty, but in her bedroom, I found her phone on the floor. It was open to her photo gallery, the 7 catacomb photos. But in the latest one, all 3 of us were gone. Just the empty chamber, the pedestal, and 7 shadows on the wall, 7 figures. 4 we brought out with us, and 3 new ones. Us. I'm telling this story as a warning. If you explore abandoned places, if you take photos in old buildings or tunnels or catacombs, look at your pictures carefully. Count the shadows. Count the figures. If there's more than there should be, delete the photos immediately. Don't back them up. Don't save them. Destroy the device if you have to. Because once you photograph them, they have a connection, a thread, a way to follow you home. Thanks for watching. I hope you consider subscribing for weekly videos.